This quote has been on my mind lately. Be still. The world is loud for a reason. I think we're drowning in distractions, and so many of us, myself included, have become addicted to that noise. We've built our lives around being busy, doing more, taking on more responsibilities, checking off more items on our to-do lists. We schedule our days down to the minute, pack our calendars full of meetings and errands and activities for ourselves and our kids. We fill our downtime with Netflix and video games and social media. It seems like the busier we are, the more productive we are, the better we are at what we do. At least that's the story we tell ourselves. But I think there's something to this idea that the world is loud for a reason. Marcus Aurelius says, the secret to a long and happy life is to not let anything upset you. He says this in Meditations, his journal, which he wrote to himself, and he goes on to say, don't be upset by what you don't control, which is everything, and focus instead on what you can control, which is nothing. Well, that doesn't seem very helpful. What's the point of that? The Stoics say everything we experience in life is a choice, even if it doesn't feel like it. And by choice, they mean an interpretation, a judgment, a decision about what something means. Your inner world is the product of your outer world, but it's also the product of your thoughts about that outer world. When Marcus says to not let anything upset you, he doesn't mean to pretend that everything's fine when it's clearly not. He is saying that it's up to you to decide how you're going to react to things, how you're going to interpret them. You always have that power, and if you choose wisely, you won't be tossed about by every external circumstance. You'll be anchored by your inner resolve. Epicurus says something similar. He says, no one can harm you, no person or thing can. The only way you can be harmed is by believing that you've been harmed, by making that your choice. For the Stoics, emotional resilience wasn't just a goal, it was a necessity. They lived in a world full of chaos and uncertainty, just like us, but they didn't have the luxury of blocking it all out and pretending everything was fine. They had to face their problems head on and deal with them, so they developed techniques and strategies for dealing with the ups and downs of life, for staying calm and focused in the midst of chaos. One of those techniques is the idea of negative visualization, or, in other words, thinking about the worst that could happen. It sounds counterintuitive. If you're trying to stay positive, why would you think about the negative? But for the Stoics, it wasn't about dwelling on negativity, it was about preparing for it. By imagining the worst-case scenario, you get a chance to mentally rehearse how you'll respond. You make a plan in advance for when things inevitably go wrong. This way, when they do go wrong, you're not caught off guard. You don't panic, you already have a strategy. You've prepared yourself mentally. Marcus Aurelius writes, you can stop expecting that everything in life will always go the way you want it to. Things don't always work out the way you want them to. In fact, that's most of what life is made of. But this isn't a bad thing. Life is full of twists and turns, ups and downs, successes and failures, and this is where we have the opportunity to grow, to learn, to become better versions of ourselves. Don't be afraid of the noise. Embrace it. Use it to fuel your growth, to challenge you, to make you stronger. Be still in the midst of the noise. Find your inner peace, and from there you can face whatever comes your way.